I'm Kristen, and I blog at Rage Against the Minivan and here at Babel Voices. And I have a dilemma that I would like advice for. Okay, so a little backstory. My husband and I both work as therapists, and one of the occupational hazards of working as a therapist is that you end up hearing, pretty much everyone's traumatic childhood stories all day long. So I will admit, first and foremost, that I am probably a little more jaded, a little more cynical, and a little more paranoid than most parents, particularly when it comes to children and molestation. That having been said, before we had kids, my husband and I had some talks about this trend we saw with our clients where a lot of people reported that early sexual experiences occurred with adolescent boys that were a lot older than them. And I heard this kind of repeated time and again, that cousins or siblings of friends or young uncles, that, kids were basically engaging in that adolescent boys kind of sexual experimentation at really young ages, which constitutes molestation. So anyway, we decided before we had kids that we would not have teenage boys be alone with our children or be babysitters or in any kind of rule like that. Paranoid a little bit, but that's the decision that we came to. So fast forward to now, I actually have children, and like many things in parenting, I'm changing my rules and readjusting what I think. And now we're in this position where we signed my son up, who's 7, for a summer camp program at our local Boys and Girls Club. It seemed like a really great program. They do really fun things. The issue is that I'm noticing more and more that the supervision that's occurring there, that they're using teenage boys who've been through the program as the main supervisors of the program. And every day when I pick him up, I notice that I don't see the adults around. The director seems to be in her office most of the time, and it's primarily teenage boys that are running the program and supervising. And I'm torn. I'm torn because my son loves going. He loves these teenage boys. They're playing football with him all day. They're taking him swimming. It's a really fun environment. At the same time, I always said that I wouldn't put my kids in a position where teenage boys are their primary supervisors. And definitely from what I'm observing, a lot of times this is the case. In fact, the last time I picked him up, I noticed that a bunch of kids were playing in the computer lab, and the only adult there was a teenage boy, which red flags all over the place. So I actually haven't taken him back, and I'm not really sure what to do. So I'm throwing it out to you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Would you take a kid to an environment where they're watched by mostly teenage boys? And I want to say, I don't think teenage boys are inherently evil. But I do have some reservations, and I don't know these boys. And, from my understanding, their only expertise is that they have been through Boys and Girls Club themselves. So it's not like they came in and interviewed and, it was determined that they're amazing with children. They've just been through the program, and now they've kind of stepped up into this role. So what would you do? Would you leave your kid there? Would you pull him out and take him somewhere else? Am I paranoid, or am I being smartly cautious?